Maryland's governor will be on Capitol Hill next week to discuss emergency aid for Baltimore as it cleans up after last month's bridge collapse. A major step is clearing debris from the water and reopening shipping canals to the Port of Baltimore. That alone will cost tens of millions of dollars. CBS News has learned Governor Moore will meet with Maryland's congressional delegation and the White House budget director about a path forward. CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane has new reporting on this and joins us now. Scott, what is the goal of Governor Moore's meetings Tuesday on Capitol Hill?
Meg, he's trying to unlock a Congress that is locked up on seemingly everything. In a different time, in a different era, this would be simple. It's simple to pass emergency funding through Congress when disaster strikes an American city or an American state. But nothing is simple now. With divided control of Congress and those very narrow margins in the U.S. House that have gridlocked them on the basic blocking and tackling of governing. So there'll be a summit of sorts. The Maryland congressional delegation, the governor of Maryland, and the head of the Office of Management and Budget trying to figure out what to request through Congress, what could pass and what could be immediately needed. Our CBS News reporting is that the Republican in the Maryland delegation, who has a very prominent perch on the House Appropriations Committee, says something in the ballpark of $100 million or less is needed immediately to clear that channel, get the port functioning again. And he wants the law that is passed to specify, Meg, that anybody found liable for this, shipping company or otherwise, will reimburse Uncle Sam for the expenses.
Scott, as you said, nothing is simple now. So based on what you're hearing from lawmakers, what do you expect will be the biggest obstacle in coming to an agreement on this emergency funding?
If you look real closely, you can see the wedge issue almost on Capitol Hill. There are Democrats who may want a bigger pot of money. There are several Democrats, including one in the Maryland delegation, saying we may need to put money together for emergency aid for the workers who have been displaced and are affected by the shuttering of the port. Also, one Maryland Democrat, David Trone, who is also on that powerful House Appropriations Committee, tells CBS News he might want to put language in any bill that would require a future president, potentially a future President Trump, to continue restoration and infrastructure work on this project into next year. So you feel the politics. You can almost feel them coming out of the building as they do what is often, and historically, Meg, an apolitical thing, get emergency funding approved.
I want to pivot for a minute and talk about U.S. funding to Israel. I want to play sound from the Democratic senator from Delaware, Chris Coons. Let's listen to this.
I think we're at the point where President Biden has said, and I have said, and others have said, if Benjamin Netanyahu, prime minister, were to order the IDF into Rafah at scale, they were to drop 1,000-pound bombs and send in a battalion to go after Hamas and make no provision for civilians or for humanitarian aid, that I would vote to condition aid to Israel. I've never said that before.
Scott, first, can you help us understand what exactly he and others mean by conditioning aid?
You put language in any legislation, Meg, that would require or put limits on the use of whatever money or munitions or equipment you're sending to Israel. That can be used only defensively, not offensively. Now, those are terms of art more than science, and there's a lot of margin for error and wiggle room there. But it is quite an evolution that's the language they're using. We may have to restrict funding that we give Israel. But there's a bigger problem, Meg. Getting anything off the ground, aid for Israel, aid for Ukraine, aid for Taiwan, has all been jammed up since late 2023. That's when the administration first asked for the money, and nothing has been approved as we reach the second week of April.
When it comes to this type of language, how much of an appetite do lawmakers have for something like this?
Yeah, it's unclear to me how much that's going to go over. Republicans don't think Democrats are being strong enough in their support of Israel. Whether that's true or not, therein lies the divide in an already pretty divided Congress.
All right, Scott MacFarlane, it's always good to talk to you, my friend. Thank you.
Same to you.